Hi guys, welcome back to the second update or follow-up of the splitting the Perry Skirmish in a box. So, what I decided to do was build up all the French, or the French allies in this instance, in one fell swoop, so that's one half completed. And that will allow me to, when I look at the Spanish, who are as yet still unarmed, unheaded, unbackpacked, un-everything, they're basically just the bodies, that'll allow me to use any leftover parts once the French half is complete to go hog wild and have fun with them. They picked up French gear, they're all the rest of it. It's going to be really quite kind of cool for them. So the Neuchatel Battalion is a Swiss battalion that's in French service that fought in the Peninsular War. That's who they were. But why did we pick them? So, I've got to say, one of the things that totally jumps out with you, the Perry say so themselves, a colourful battalion with that kind of canary yellow uniform. They were actually nicknamed the Canaries by some Spanish folk, and for some reason folk used to kind of take the mick out of that uniform. I think it looks quite neat. We aren't going to be using any of the suggested Spanish torsos because I read somewhere that these guys had short coat tails. Now the French sculpts in the Elite books have long coat tails, but we're not going to really bother about that because let's face facts. These guys are going to be standing front and centre in front of the enemy. You'll never see their backs because they ain't going to be running away. Or that's the plan anyway. So there was some head, not shortages, but to do what I wanted to do, there was a kind of shortages. So these bear skins here, it would have been cool to have grenadiers in all the full bear skins there. I did do more research on the Neuchatel guys, and they did have these dress ones, but they also had a plain bear skin with no plate, no anything on it. It's just pure kind of black. So we could have went in with some green stuff and whatnot and organised the French bear skins, but I decided we ain't got time for that. So I opted for the grenadiers in that one there with the big tall plume. So we've got that head there for the grenadiers, which we're opting for 12 of them, and this voltigeurs, we've got 6 with this on, this hat, and then the 6 with the kind of thistly hat on as well. So we can differentiate between the two skirmisher units by the big tall plume and the thistly pom-pom, and then further differentiate the grenadiers with the red epaulets and the red plume, and yeah, voltigeurs is just yellow and green like kind of standard French kind of stuff. But I didn't want to let the grenadier hats go a begging, so I popped a couple of them on for my commander's little command unit. So we'll have a look. I'll just weak this out of the way and we'll have a look at some of the figs. So we'll start with the voltigeurs. Standard guy, just a Perry Elite books guy, no changes to him at all. So he's just as he comes. You can see the long coattails there at the back, look, along with the wee sword there. So he'll be painted up as a grenadier or a voltigeur, it doesn't matter, as long as we kind of split the poses. I've put the grenadier line guys, I've used up, because we got a couple of marching guys in there, so it's not very voltigeur-y, so it's more grenadier-y. So we've got them, these are just going to be the grenadiers. So again, it's just using up all the arms that came and everything else that came. So things that aren't in that kind of actiony pose, they got shoved into the grenadiers. So it's 12 of them like that. Well, no, that's not actually true. There's not 12. It's less than that. There's 9 like that. So 9 are just the standard guys with that tall plume that we'll paint red along with the red epaulets. And we'll just do it that way. And it's red facings as well for all the Neuchatel stuff. So we've got them. But to make that up to 12 and make sure we're not wasting figs, which we don't want to do, we've bulked up that little 12-man unit by painting up these, well, not painting them up yet, but including these guys. So we've got our sapper there, drummer, and our flag guy. Now, you can buy a Neuchatel flag from GMB, but I think I'll just bung on just a French one that comes out of the box now as a kind of little placeholder, and then we can easily snip that off later down the track. Okay, so that's those guys. I've used a lot of the, as I say, the running-y action poses. If we can get that to zoom in, come on. Yeah. So the running action poses on some of these voltigeurs, just to make them a little bit more action-packed. Now it doesn't actually, it's really weird, this camera doesn't like zooming in on them because there's so many bits sticking out on them. Sticking out arms and sticking out everything else. So we've got running guys, the odd guy who's covering them, moving up, like so. More running guys. You get the idea. So that's those guys, and they're the guys with the tall plumes. So that was all the tall plumes used pretty much to make those grenadiers up in this 6-man voltigeur unit. So we'll weak them off. But I needed another voltigeur unit, so this is the thistle heads that I was saying before. The thistle heads. With the thistly pom-pom. Those guys. If it's going to zoom in, yeah, like when I get a few more on. So these are just going to have the kind of covered shackle with the thistly pom-pom on top. So we've got those 6 heads left. Well, there's plenty of these heads, funnily enough. But these guys are the way they are, like that. So we can differentiate between this 6-man voltigeur unit and the 6-man in the kind of dressy, kind of tall plume one, which are going to be done as grenadiers. And the other ones as voltigeurs. So that's those guys. Next up, we have the leader guy. So he's there, if we're going to zoom in. Maybe we're not. Maybe we are. Put another couple in. It'll help the focus out. And there we go. So that's our leader guy with his 2 ablative wounds, grenadiers that are coming with him. They're going to look after him and hopefully keep him alive for a wee while anyway. That's the hope anyway. So this is where we split it so far. As I say, we're going to use all the French bits are going to get lumped into the big mixing pot to make Spanish guys, and then we'll see how we get on. So I'll make the Spanish next, do another bit of that, and then we can talk about how we're going to actually paint these fellas up. Thanks very much. We shall see you in the next one.